Good morning, everybody. All right, so we got the numbers. Markets moved up a little, coming back down. Yesterday was like a coma day, let's call it, going nowhere. Little, you can see it. Didn't go much of anywhere. Pretty narrow range day of consolidation. And it's what we were expecting pre-market yesterday. You know, there's on Friday, things shot up. They were up, things come back down. And it's on all of this support. So we're sitting here waiting, wondering, do we recover? Do we get breakdown failure kind of situation? Back up again. It's going to break below down here. No, it's flip flopping around, up, down, up, down. Those futures contracts changing, by the way. Can you believe we're into the first quarter of the year? It's about done. And the time is flying. Anyway, so kind of a wait and see. We've the weeklies are up a lot of weeks in a row. Here we had a red bar ignored, another red bar ignored. And so now this becomes a critical area of support. I don't know. We'll see with another time correction. We don't know. All right. So we're waiting for more data to see. We're going to recover. We're going to break even today. You can see right now, sellers have taken control on that little move up on the news. So while there's no break of support, we're going nowhere. And that's the bottom line, going nowhere right now. S&P is pretty much the same thing. You know, not much to say. Consolidation day. The big fanfare now is that they say breadth is expanding, where the equal weight, is moved up, but that's extended. So there are stocks that still look like they can go up and look good. So any corrective price action, maybe it's going to happen in the big stocks. We're interested to see what they're doing. Microsoft's been going sideways for over a month. It's creating this neckline. You can see kind of this, whatever, call it a trading range. Meta was down yesterday a little bit, not a big deal, but pretty sharp move to the downside. Apple, as you know, is already taken a little bit of a beating. I think there was some news this morning, somebody saying it's overdone. Well, we'll have to see about that. And maybe when it gets down here, that'll be a place where it'll be worth, maybe it's going to bounce, but that's going to be a critical area. You can see where it held there last year. And so now the interest, as we look at this, of course, any chart that we look at, the interest becomes, does it hold? Is this just a trading range in Apple, where then it's off to the races from the bottom of the range? Does it break down? Which would be, I think, big implications for the broader markets if Apple was to break down below here in a decisive way. Oracle looks amazing. So there's the positive side, Kevin. Everybody, we've all seen the move up this morning. So you can see it was up at 130, a monster gap. I mean, can we say that's overdone? Yeah. So gapping up here, we'll see where it ends the day, but that's a tremendous gap up. It's coming off of the high there, but no big deal. So that's a major plus. So right now there's these pluses, there's these minuses. The markets are consolidating. Looking at internals, they don't really give us any edge here. Looking at sentiment and breadth, neutral. This is neutral. It's coming down toward the green bands. So some downside action could get these option traders loading up on bearish bets, which that could be a help. Of course, we'll see when and if these two internals, if they were to match. They're not. So as I said, there's nothing there to help us as far as giving us a bias one way or another. Yeah, you could. Well, it depends on the option trades you could do. Gapping up like that, you'll have to see where the options are at the open. A lot of times big move up like that, they get inflated prior to the numbers, and then they lose their premium quick. But with a gap like that, might make sense to do a call spread if there's enough juice for expiring today. Maybe whatever. You can ask Dan about that. All right. Um, Dow showed a little bit of relative strength yesterday. I mean, you might look at the chart and say, really, where was it? But let's just go over here. It had a plus day, but it came down to that pivot and it bounced. Again, is this a topping pattern? Is it consolidation before going higher again? It's a wait and see. And, highs, lows, trading range. So we shall see how it plays out. NASDAQ 100. Well, same thing as the futures. Uh, up a little bit, kind of flattish. So no big deal. On the news, weekly chart, red bar last week. Waiting to see. Spiders, I'm just looking here for credit spreads. My internet was blipping before I came on here. Luckily, it helped itself to fix itself. All right. So gapping up a little bit in the middle of that red bar. So we do this to see get a general feel for where SPX is going to be in 20 minutes, middle of that red bar, but it's coming off of the high. All right. So look where the premium is, enough to consider. And this has come up a little bit, which is what it does when the market is up a little pre-market. And so then we look at whether it makes sense. Hold on, let me get this here. 195. So that looks like it's going to be a no-brainer. When markets gap up initially on the news, the call strikes usually get inflated. So that's up near 5,200. And it's in the middle, if it opens here, it's going to be in the middle of the range. So take your pick. Probably either one is going to work. It's about an equal distance away from assuming if it opened up where it is right now. We'll have to see. Well, Kevin, I think you're new to the room. I think if you follow the numbers that I'm providing day to day, you'll do just fine with the SPX credit spreads. So I look at where there's enough premium to do whether it's 20 or 30 wide. You might say that's excessive. If you want to get closer, put it tighter, but these tend to be no-brainers, especially when they are near a whole number like that. Okay, so you're in the room. You want to ask questions during the trading day. Dan and I are here, of course. Lunchtime, we're kind of in and out, but I'm usually around. First day. Well, welcome. Yesterday, we spoke about the 10-year coming into this gap fill and it moving up, which could be a little pressure on the markets. Markets went sideways. As I said, coma day. You can see where they're moving up. How many times can I say look to the left? I mean, no matter how many T lines, fib lines, whatever you want to put on your chart to, give you a little brain damage. I mean, just look to where support and resistance is, and there's going to be buyers and sellers there. Right? What is it? Yes, I'm sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion. I don't need any promotion for channel. Somebody. No, thank you. All right. IWM. A little extended, showed some relative weakness yesterday. It's trending up now. That looks good. We'll see if how far it comes down. There's some support here, give or take. We'll see what it does. You can see things are giving up the gains on the blip up. So sellers are taking opportunities on strength, yet support is close by. So pretty much wherever we look here, we're being led down the same path of it's choppy. Transports yesterday, we talked about it. Little trading range within a bigger trading range. Nothing's happening there. We're waiting to see which way they're going to go. And Bitcoin. Wow. Right. Amazing move. Talk of 100,000. Who knows? Maybe this time, but giant red bar ignored. Of course, that's positive. It's extended. Buying here, of course, is higher risk. Crude oil going nowhere. Getting a little rejection there. There was a little breakout that failed. It's trading range, nothing there. Gold is extended at this point, and you see a little climactic sell setup on the daily chart. However, it's a new move. So you can have climactic sell setups that prices are extended, but when they come out of a long base like this, we assume that any pullback is viable, and it may not even pull back as far as you might think being extended. So we'll see how that plays out. I think so, Robert. Should be a pullback in GLD gold. You see silver come up to its resistance and pulling back. Yeah. The dollar, I guess, is up a little bit. The euro is down a little bit. So we see euro coming down, dollar moving up a bit. You saw interest rates coming up a little bit of pressure on the markets. Overall, it's still running in place, and we'll just have to see. We'll see how today goes. All right. We can see it's in the middle of the range. As more news, market moving news, supposedly market moving news as today was, but on Thursday, you've got PPI, jobless claims, retail sales, business inventories at 9, retail, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see where that brings, and more speculation about what the Fed is going to do or not going to do it, when they're going to do it, and put a little more juice in the tank as far as liquidity. And so that's it. Don't get chopped up today. There's still stocks out there that look pretty darn good. We're actually great. And SMHs, and then I'll pass it on to Dan. See where they're at here. Gap up a little bit. So this big reversal. Last week we talked about these being extended, and then we got this reversal. And so this is pulling back. The question is, when weekly charts are also extended, we can have an extended period of consolidation, or it could result in a larger retracement. We just have to see how this unfolds. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, we had some crazy moves on that number, getting different levels of retracement right now. So that's good. Not going to be in a rush to do anything. Don't have many alarms going off, actually. Alex, Visa alarm just went off. I had an alarm at 281 here. Inverse head and shoulder on the 15th. So that's a day trade idea. We'll wait 5, 10, 15 minutes, see what the market's going to hold, see what this looks like. But that's what we do, and build our tier 1 list for the morning, put it in a 5-minute thumbnail, and see if our buy is plays out. It's really that simple. And the bias could be for a day trade or swing or both. Gold, yeah, we have this in the ETF later, and we have a 1/3 position that we sold, into strength. But I think we just gave it a big old break-even stop on the back third. We'll let it pivot and then see what it does. A cough alarm. This from yesterday. I posted a put spread. 30-minute high, nice directional also. But gap negated, red bars negated, 20 above the 50. Still looks fantastic. All right, let's go through some earnings, not many, and I've cleared some out already. Yeah, Kevin, we're talking about an option on this. You got to tell me what you're interested in. I mean, it's an excessive gap to me, so I'm just not even considering buying call options. Just it's not my style. It's more it's an igniting gap, so it's not a typical pattern to sell a call spread on, unless it's an excessive gap, unless it takes out a 30-minute low, and unless we get good premium. I mean, that's an igniting, very, very bullish gap with all these relatively flat MAs. Delta 20 asking about Myrna. We actually did a put spread on that yesterday, Delta 20. And even for directional, your entry was yesterday over Friday's high. So again, I don't know what you're asking me. It helps when you all ask us, I don't know. And it's too far from the 20 for directional. Your entry was yesterday. You could be saying, well, I'm going to short a 10-minute low as a day trade short based on the breakdown on the 15. That's fine too. So I don't, nothing obvious is jumping out at me of what to do with this thing. Alto, I have an alarm at 226. I doubt I seriously doubt it's going to negate this gap down. And if it doesn't, I'll just delete it later. It's a penny stock. Yeah, gapping up, a garbage. Mountain. This is Veil. That's bearish gap. So that is a call spread candidate. This gapping down, no pattern, no interest. Yeah, no, Kevin, we wouldn't trade anything. Trust me, anything, any time frame. You just got to tell me, we're technical traders. So you just got to tell me what you were thinking, and then we'll give you our opinion. I had some discussions with Don yesterday about that exact subject. And Don, let's talk about it later, actually, because our approach applies to 100% everything. So you want to trade a breakout failure on something on a intraday chart? I'm all with you. But I can't watch 100 things. So unless you all bring it to my attention or I have an alarm go off. But we do that throughout the day on the broader markets. Why? Because I am staring at those all day. So throughout the day, and my usual suspects, fangs, etc., whatever I'm looking at on my 6 screens. But that's because I am watching those on 15-minute charts all day. LFMD 850. Bullish gap. Let's see what it does. Let it settle down a little bit. AROC. It's a potential retest pattern. So it's worth watching, but there's no potent turn yet. But and also what I don't like is it's kind of retracing from 4 bars as opposed to one bar. Back to earnings. No pattern. KC gapping down a little bit. Call spread idea over Friday's high. If there's any juice, then obviously these things are going to be more illiquid at the open with earnings. All right, here's the bullish gap breakout. I think I said in the green room yesterday, if it opens flat, this would have been a great long idea. Well, let's watch this on a pullback. Oh, look at this triple M running too much. I'll put an NBR there, but triple M was not earnings, but there was some news. I forget what it was, and it gapped up. I saw it at 96 this morning right here, and I would have been all over that as a gap breakup from a bottoming pattern. But look, now it's 100. So pre-market run messed me up. 886, gap's too big. 80M had earnings. There's a gap breakout. And I think I read they had some whistleblowers trying to get them in trouble too. All right, ADM. All right, I put that in the window. Onion. We actually shorted naked puts on this as an earnings trade right down here at the 29. So, and that's right. That's exactly where it's gapping to the penny. We'll start off 30-minute low and see if we can get out on a bounce here in the morning with a gain. IQT is a sell setup. So it's a short watch. Manu, I had an alarm at 1480. It went off. Let me reset it. So Manu is a Climo, but it hasn't made the turn yet. Here, gapping up 875. That would be a good put spread if there's, but whenever you see decimal points here, good luck. There being an $8.20 strike price, so I don't even look anymore. That's a ugly death trend. I like this. Refi, it's light volume under 100,000, which I frown from. But there's a lot of air above if it opens flat. This is a bottoming pattern. Broke out, retest, 20 MA flattened out, big old void. But the gap's too big. Right? If this were gapping, let's say to 122, then I'd be all over this like a 10-15 minute high. Gap's too big. All right, A8L. I don't know what their news was. I just saw it gapping down. I know AL. I know Love came out with some pre-announcement. 30. Wow, that's a big ugly cap on Love. I mean, look at the size of that. Look at 31 bucks. I always say, put tape over the price. It doesn't matter to me. As visual traders, that is a monster ugly gap. I don't care if you're a $3 stock, $30 stock, or 300. It's the same answer. I'm going to put that in a window. There's no pattern. I got no bias. I just will watch it. But my initial bias would be let it sell off more. Let it swan dive more towards the 200, maybe the even $30, and then I'll look for a reversal. Yeah, Boeing has more bad news. Plane dropping out of the sky, going to New Zealand, I heard. And that we were going to short that yesterday, or buy puts rather, but the gap messed it up. All right, path is a bottoming pattern, but has earnings tomorrow. Otherwise, I love the downside shakeout here, bottoming pattern, but earnings square. Remember, this was on my core watch list. So it's building the right shoulder of this inverse head and shoulder on the monthly. And I was watching it for a few days and stopped watching it. It didn't give a logical entry, but I still like it. Going, gap's too big. Going. All right, that's all my alarms and earnings. So in the FANG department, I always am looking at the FANGs pre-market. And when Greg was talking, look, this thing just dropped $2. Boom. It's a sell setup on the daily. Apple retraced, filled the gap, no pattern. Microsoft holding, but no pattern. Amazon broke down. See, now Amazon broke down on the daily, so I have zero interest in swing long in that. But look at the 15-minute chart. It's a buy setup. That's a wide range breakout with a buy setup. The only thing that would make it better is if I had a better void. See, because this was yesterday right here, yesterday pre-market. So the target's not very big. It's the only problem with me wanting to day trade that. I see Netflix at the low here. I think I looked already. That's a call spread idea, 15-minute low. Tesla's been a dog for a while, nothing to do there. I mean, that Tesla looks bearish, daily, weekly, monthly. Oh, hey, Don, I didn't look at what levels you did yesterday of SPX overnight, but I would say I'm 99% confident you got a nice open gain, particularly with the retracement pre-market. So good job there. All right, I'm done. Less than a minute to go, so shut up for a few seconds. I see that NVIDIA gap, but yeah, I'm with Greg. This deep retracement with a climb on the weekly. I don't think that's going to make. Let's see, this is a better day trade long than Amazon, because this is your same little buy setup on the 15, but I got a much better void here. Yeah, you got a speed bump here and here, but look at this big bottoming action. So NVIDIA could be a great day trade idea. Arms going off, BGS for long stock from yesterday. Visa, Alex, is up. That we talked about that as a day trade idea. But I don't trade in the first 10 minutes. It's I'd say a 98% rule, unless it's just a beautiful gap trade. I'll even trade pre-market. Greg does cyber up alarm. We did the 270s yesterday. Visa. Yeah, Visa looks great. For a day trade, not chasing it here. I wish it stayed at 281 and bobbled around for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Hog alarm. Set a new alarm. We have a half lot. SGRY alarm. Sam, this sounds like yours. Alarm went off and snapped right back. SCCO. No, I don't like it as a swing, John. It's too far from the 20 and you don't have a big target. Day trade would be okay, maybe 5, 10, 15-minute high. So I like the gap over this 15-minute inverse head and shoulder. Yes. Yes. So day trade, okay. It's just not my setup for a swing reward to risk. IBM hit long. All right. XOM, Roberto, what do you think for a swing? Your best swing entry was the day after this gap up. I would say you're just, flipping the dice and trying to get on board a moving train. I like Velo better over yesterday's high because it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. So as a new trade, I like Velo better. Although it's weaker right now, it's fine. Set an alarm. That ain't gonna trigger and you got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. All right, ADM. All right, the gap and move is too big. All right, cough, put spread is okay. If filled, directional, we have to wait. Let me check what the premium is. 136, 132 is 52 cents. And I said 57. So it should get filled here. IWM, the weakness. Wow, cracking support on the 15 and hourly. Oh, and then BR, look, I get that gap up I was watching, so forget that. IWM, yeah, that looks like it might be heading lower. What can I say? Either this prior low or maybe the 20. That was quite a rejection. AD line negative, yields up. Yields look higher. That's gapping from a 6-bar turn. What's gold doing? Yeah, Greg, I initially had the stop on the back third under this topping tail bar. And then over the weekend, I changed it back to break even, which just call it 194. Do you want to give it that much room? Or take the money?
You have to.
I don't.
Well,
I don't.
if you have a different opinion that this breakout is going to fail, which I don't know how anybody could have that opinion, but I mean, it broke out to an all-time high from a consolidation, which assumes it's going to go up. So we have to see what it's going to do.
Look at Boeing Dog. I said this thing had room to fall on the daily. I mean, on the weekly. I said it. Mitch alarm. Wow, I didn't think that would trigger after yesterday's tail. But Mitch has a go.